Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with my review for the series premiere of Project Blue Book on the History Channel. Alright, so I got a chance to check out Project Blue Book tonight. I just finished a few minutes ago, so I thought I'd make this review. It's actually the first of quite a few shows coming in the next couple of weeks, or next month I would say, that I'll be doing reviews for on the channel, including True Detective that's coming this Sunday. Really looking forward to that one. And I was really looking forward to this one, Project Blue Book, probably the first of 2019 for the new shows that are coming. And kind of the story and the idea behind this one is what really intrigued me. I heard about this one, probably back in 2018, probably the summer of 2018, maybe I heard, when some casting got announced here, Neil McDonough, and more, of course, Littlefinger from Game of Thrones coming in to play, I guess, probably the main character, right? Or at least in this premiere, it looks like to be the main character, Alan Hynek. So, anyway, so I'll go over my thoughts here of the premiere. I don't think I'll be getting into any big spoilers. If you haven't seen the episode, I don't think I'm going to ruin anything for you. But I will probably mention some names, some events, stuff that happens. So, take that as you may. Anyways, if you enjoyed the review, please leave a like, consider subscribing, would really appreciate it. And I really want to know your guys' thoughts on this premiere. If you checked it out, what did you think of it? Did it live up to your expectations? Or how high were those expectations going into it? And will you keep watching if you've seen the premiere, or if by now you've seen the series? Let me know what you think of that as well. So, anyways, let's get into it then. So first off, let's, go over kind of what this series will be. So Project Blue Book, of course, tells it's based on true stories and events, right? So the true top secret United States Air Force sponsored investigations into UFO-related phenomenon in the 1950s and 60s in the U.S., right? And of course, this investigation or this operation was known as Project Blue Book. So that's where the title of the show comes in. The series follows Dr. Alan Hynek, a brilliant college professor recruited by the U.S. Air Force to lead the operation that researched thousands of cases, many of which were never solved to this day. Each episode will draw from the actual files, blending UFO theories with authentic historical events from one of the most mysterious eras in United States history. So really just an interesting concept, right? They're taking these real events, these real stories, I guess I should say real events, but real stories of kind of what people said happened, and how the investigations were and the reports and all that. And they're kind of blending it with a little bit of fiction, the theories, the typical, UFO kind of conspiracies out there. And they're kind of blending them together and kind of doing, a recreation of what, maybe the creators think would have happened during this investigation. Of course, dramatizing it a little bit for TV. Anyway, so really kind of a cool concept here we're working with. And this premiere, I felt, really kind of dived into that, very quickly, actually, with kind of the real case, comparison and all that stuff. So for sure. So first off, my expectations going into it, they weren't that high. History Channels gave us some okay, scripted dramas. Got Vikings. News just came out. It was ending after season 6. But season 5 is going on right now, so they still have, 20-some episodes to go of Vikings yet. And, you can argue that, but I think a lot of people agree that the first few seasons were still pretty good television. Nightfall is coming, season 2. So History has some good things going. It's not like they don't have anything in terms of scripted dramas. Of course, they have American Pickers and those types of shows, Pawn Stars. But now they're kind of getting a scripted dramas window, and so my expectations weren't as high, right, as, going into a network show or something like that. Also, I watched the trailer, and the trailer seemed pretty good, but it didn't really impress me that much, right? And so going into this premiere, I had pretty low expectations. I kind of was expecting, not that much from it. I was kind of, going in, but with an open mind too, just kind of giving it a chance because I love the idea and of course some of the casting, names in there, and so I gave it a chance. So here are my thoughts then after watching the premiere, keeping in mind that I kind of went in with very low expectations. So of course, the first act, very fast paced, and this is something that we see a lot with pilots and premieres. They want to get you right into the story, so they don't waste a lot of time in that first act. And by first act, I mean pretty much, typically till that first commercial break, and then we're kind of into the episode. So, of course, jumps kind of right in, right? Hynek agrees to work with the captain, who comes to visit him, I guess, at the college. Well, actually, I guess Hynek goes to him, but he calls him at the college then to basically come on, right, and work with them because they need a professor to back up basically what they're doing with his operations, and it really is just to back it up. It's really, they don't really want him to actually exercise, his intelligence or his practices. They just want him to be kind of the guy who signs off on these cases that they're going to close very quickly, to kind of, give confidence to the American people that this is not real, right? It's all kind of made up. And so anyways, so Hynek joins with the hopes of kind of getting recognition. We see that as he talks to his wife there, right? He wants to discover the truth. So he ultimately is going in with an open mind, but he doesn't quite know that the captain and the military, or at least until I would say about 2/3 through the episode, that the military is kind of trying to sweep this one under the carpet, and he's kind of in for the long haul trying to figure out what the truth of the matter is. And so, of course, the captain is following orders, right? He just wants to disprove them completely, right? He's not really, there to actually find out what happened. And, of course, he's ordered to do so from the higher-ups. So kind of everything kind of stacked against Hynek here as he joins, but a very fast, start to the episode here, and getting him on board and seeing, his reasoning for that, and then, of course, the reasoning for them even starting the operation. So I did like the first act, but yes, it was fast-paced. To me, I think this story is one that could get old very quickly, with Hynek, being that kind of, open-minded guy. He actually wants to investigate, but the military's not. They're not going to budge. They just want to sweep this under the carpet, and that's it. I think this is going to get very old very quickly, and it even got old to me just within this episode with the same themes, the same drives for these characters throughout the episode. So to me, it will get old quickly, but what I want to see and what I could see happening here in the future episodes is I want to see the captain who's working with Hynek. I'm forgetting his name, top of my head, but I want to see that captain somehow go through a transformation, which I thought he might in this episode, but unfortunately he doesn't. But go through some sort of transformation where he at least can see through Hynek's point of view and start to kind of treat these cases with actual, respect and actually, kind of go in with a more open mind. And then it will be kind of a captain who's involved with the military and that side of things, and be kind of in with Hynek and investigating this. And I think that's where they're going. I think that's the direction, especially with the captain's last remark to Neil McDonough's character, his, colonel, I guess. In kind of a little bit talking back there, he said, I needed to disprove him. Right, and so that right there, I think, is what they're going towards, and that's something I would like to see, to be honest, and seeing that flip for the captain, and maybe even a flip into Hynek's point of view too, because again, it's gonna get old if he's just there, willy-nilly, kind of open-minded and whatever, just believing everything he sees. Obviously, I think a transformation would have to be, there for him, and maybe it is in this episode, as it looks to be that they disprove this first story, but of course he's still skeptical, and so anyways, great theme and concept though that makes this worth watching to me. I think, of course, I'm going to go over some more negatives for it. Definitely had a lot of negatives, right? But I think just the theme and the whole concept of the show is worth watching. I mean, if you can get by, or kind of get by the negatives, the kind of cliches that we see throughout this episode, and probably future episodes. I think this is something that you could still enjoy and be entertained by. I don't think this is, of course, it's not the, biggest, show on television. The quality is not all there, but I think the concept is enough that it is unique, and it's something that is interesting to a lot of people, and especially if you've followed these kind of stories and also read some stuff about Project Blue Book, and all that stuff. So just really interesting stuff there. So that's one thing that they definitely have going their way. And I'm just wondering, will this be a UFO story a week kind of format? It seems as though we do have that, because in the description here, we have each episode we'll draw from the actual files. So it looks like we'll have kind of a story a week, or at least in this premiere, it looks like that is the case. And then we might have a B plot as we see towards the very end, with someone being involved some way else, right, with his wife at home. So anyways, that's going to be interesting. A little bit too much focus, I thought, on Hynek's wife throughout the episode, but later on it actually makes sense with what they're trying to do with her kind of newfound friend. We see that she's watching them at the very end of the episode and taking pictures of Hynek. Going back in the house there at the very end. So it does make sense. It comes full circle. It was, a purpose of us getting to know that friend, and kind of, so that scene comes around and we're like, oh, that it actually hits us. And I just felt like it was kind of obvious the way they were going, and so I don't think they needed to spend as much time kind of pushing the point home with that. But it was nice to see a change of things, than just, Hynek and the captain out on this, story. It was nice to see the wife at home too, and his son, and how, his absence would impact the family as well. So that was good. I just felt it was a little too obvious what they were building there, and maybe they spent a little bit too much time. Acting wasn't amazing. At times in this episode, I did kind of, not cringe, but at times I was like, that wasn't the best. But I would say some great performances from the captain, the actor who plays the captain, and also, Littlefinger, Game of Thrones, as Hynek. How am I drawing? I've drawn a blank on his name. Anyways, I think those two were great. Neil McDonough was pretty good too. I really like him in everything I've seen him in. Suits. Just one of them. Suits. He's going to be in Yellowstone season 2 on Paramount Network. But anyways, outside of those three, though, I didn't really feel, that anyone gave a, amazing performance. I feel like it was kind of average. It was, enough, right? The acting was enough to kind of carry this story. But in the future episodes, it might get more noticeable. So we'll have to, kind of keep an eye on that one. I did feel like it was a good capture of the period aspect of the show, because, of course, that's an important aspect of the show, is that it takes place in the 1950s and 60s. So just, talking physically and visually, the cars, the buildings, they look pretty authentic to me. Of course, I wasn't alive in the 50s, so, I take that with a grain of salt. But to me, it looked pretty, authentic, right? It looked pretty good. And also, the whole, theme that they're building with the, duck and cover drills at school, like the son says, and the other people reading the newspaper and talking all about the UFOs and all that. So I think they're doing an accurate job here with, capturing the feeling of the time. And I did feel like that was maybe one of the best things about this premiere and this show right now. So yeah, I thought that was really good. And I did, like I said earlier, I thought they avoided some pilot cliches that we see a lot. But they also stuck with a lot of them, right? The whole thing with the wife meets the friend and the friend's watching them. That's something that I've seen before, and I feel like is becoming a cliche if it's not already. Kind of the very fast-paced first act, throw us into this story. Just some cliches in there for sure. And, they're called pilot cliches, but they do work a lot of the times. And so maybe that's why they also stuck with them too. But, a little bit of cliche. But what I would love to see is, as we go forward here in the episodes, is a change to the captain's perspective, a change to Hynek's perspective, and also possibly a change in the actual operation and the trend of things, and even maybe with Neil McDonough's character, as we caught maybe a little glimpse of that in the very last frame of the episode. And so we'll have to see the kernel. So we'll have to see how that all comes together. And I feel like this is going to be ultimately a show that we're going to have to watch a few episodes for before we kind of get a feel for what they're working with here. And of course, Robert Zemeckis is behind this. Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, just recently Welcome to Marwen. And he's an executive producer. So I think it's worth still sticking around for a few more episodes just because of him, but also because of this cast too. Really, at least the main cast members, really great. So all in all, I think it really did come in above my expectations, this show. I think after seeing the trailer, little down on it, right? It's History Channel, they don't many dramas and all that stuff, but I think it did come in above my expectations. I thought it was, like I said, I think the idea and the concept is just enough in itself to keep the viewers watching, right? We want to see kind of what this is, and we want to learn more about these stories. And I'm just kind of curious of how far they will dramatize it and how far they do choose to fictionalize it, and all that. So ultimately, the premiere, I thought, was pretty good episode. It set up things definitely pretty well. We already saw a story in the first episode, but like I said, a few cliches that they went over, right? And that the whole storyline is kind of getting old already in this premiere. But that said, right, we don't know what's going to happen in these next few episodes, and that's something I definitely think is worth exploring. So, all in all, it's worth watching, and I think I'm going to stick around for a couple more weeks here. Worth watching the next few episodes for, but after that, if it remains the same, maybe not. But again, this concept is so damn interesting and so intriguing that I think it's, definitely going to hook some viewers in for the whole run. So, and I'm not sure if this is a limited series or a, season, 1. It hasn't really been set out that way either way, but anyways, we'll have to see. So anyways, those are my thoughts on Project Blue Book. Like I said at the beginning, love to hear your thoughts on this premiere and also what the series has going forward. And yeah, I'll probably stick around for a few more episodes and see what's up. And of course, True Detective and some other shows coming up very shortly as well. So I'll have to get into those as well. So anyways, History Channel hits us with this one. I would say next to Vikings, this is probably their best work so far. Just after seeing this episode, I think they're on a good run here. And this might be a start of, some new scripted dramas on History Channel. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this review. As I said before, if you enjoy, like the video, consider subscribing to the channel. And yeah, that's just about it. So, anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in my next review. Listen to the wind blow.